Hello, my name is Father Howard Giles at Jesus the Good Shepherd Anglican Church in Henderson, Nevada. We are members of the Anglican Diocese of San Joaquin, and I was asked by our Anglican Catechist Training School to talk to you about church planting. So I'm not offering the diocesan standard on church planting. I'm not telling you how to plant a church. I'm not sure that anybody can really tell you how to do that because life happens and there are things that we can't anticipate in the moments of daily life. But I think it is very helpful when we're going to set about doing something to talk to other people who have done it. Lord knows anything that I've done in my life, I've tried to find people who have done it and done it well before I go and do something, whether that's opening a bank account or going to college or anything else. If I want to talk to somebody about being married, I'm going to talk to somebody who's been married a good long time. If I want to talk to somebody about business, I'm going to talk to somebody who's been successful. You see where I'm going with that. So I planted churches twice for the Diocese of San Joaquin. The first one was St. Anselm of Lodi, which I planted along with Father Roger Rigsby. May he rest in peace. And I'm going to call that one a success because I found a letter that I had written to that parish on their 6th anniversary. And something like 75% of churches don't last 5 years. Church plants don't last 5 years. So they made it past 5 years. They made it to Father Roger Rigsby's retirement. And really it seems like a series of mishaps after his retirement are what led to that closure, not to the initial success of the church plant. So that is probably the best way of church planting, the way that we planted St. Anselm's, because we planted it out of another parish. I was at St. Mary the Virgin in Manteca, and Roger was then a deacon serving with us, and we had just left the Episcopal Church in 2007. And we had lost many parishes in that leaving the Episcopal Church, and one of the ones that we lost was St. John's and Lodi, and I really had a heart for those people. Manteca is relatively close to Lodi, and because the dean of the Delta Deanery had left, Bishop John David appointed me the dean, and I realized here we had quite a few of the churches that didn't make it with us to the Anglican Church were in the Delta Deanery. We lost actually several churches, and St. John in Lodi was the largest. And so I was talking with Bishop John David about that in his office, and I said, I really feel like we need to be reaching out and trying to plant a church. And he said, we don't have money, we don't have personnel. And I said, well, we've got Roger, and he's driving a really long ways to come to Manteca, and I think that he can plant a church. In fact, I know that he can, and I think with the right encouragement, and St. Mary's could help. So the bishop looked behind me on the calendar and said, well, we just in the morning Eucharist at the Chapel of the Holy Innocents celebrated St. Anselm of Canterbury. That's going to be the name of it. You go talk to Roger and start a church. So I went and talked with Roger, and at first Roger was like, I don't know about that. And I kind of challenged him a little bit. This was truly within his skill sets, I believed. And so he finally agreed. I went to the vestry of St. Mary the Virgin in Manteca and asked them for $250. They readily agreed for that. Roger and I got together a list of the members of St. John's Lodi, the best one we had. He had some people in Elk Grove from his years in the Diocese of Northern California, and we put out a mailer. We made a letter. We invited people to come down to St. Mary's one weekday evening, and lo and behold, we got 20 or 30 people. I don't even think we served any kind of food or drink. We just had them come and said, we're talking about planting a church in Lodi. And they said, why not Elk Grove? Because almost all of them were from Elk Grove. And we had not formed the Anglican Church in North America yet. We were still in the province of the Southern Cone. And Greg Venables, the Archbishop, had asked us not to go outside of our geographic boundaries. So going to Elk Grove would have meant that. So we started looking for space in Lodi. The 20 or so people that came to St. Mary's were totally enthusiastic. They passed the plate themselves. We were able to raise a couple $100 more just with the money that they offered. With that money and the money that we had with St. Mary's, Roger and I were ready to go up to Lodi. We went up to the county courthouse. We applied for a fictitious business name under the diocesan 501 and articles of incorporation, etc. We filed the fictitious business name. We went to the bank. We opened a bank account, took the money that we had gathered and the check from St. Mary Manteca and opened a bank account. We went to the post office. We got a post office box. So it took us an afternoon, right, to get the fictitious business name, the bank account, and then finally to get the post office box. And then we were ready to try to find some place to worship. And our initial idea was to find a Seventh-day Adventist church, and there were none that were really willing to talk to us. We went by a Reformed church, and the pastor immediately knew who we were. He knew the Episcopal Church in Lodi and had many interactions with them, and saw a break in the local ministerial association because of their heterodox teaching, and so was ready to offer us his sanctuary and for free. And so we met in their side sanctuary. We had to meet at 1 o'clock. I celebrated Holy Communion. We gathered up a couple of extras from St. Mary's, sacristy, and we were ready to celebrate Holy Communion. And we had a couple dozen people the first couple of Sundays, and they were faithful in giving, and slowly grew and eventually moved to Elk Grove. Really a wonderful success, and Roger's preaching and his connection with the people were the reason for that success. The second church plant is still going now in our 15th year. We started in 2009. This was a little bit more of what people think of as a church plant. I was born and raised in Southern Nevada and was again serving at St. Mary's Manteca in Central California. And my wife Erin and I discerned that we were supposed to be leaving St. Mary and either going to find a new place to minister or to plant a church. Or to plant a church in Henderson. And so I started to apply to other churches. I started to look for other church planting opportunities, talking to other Anglican groups around what became the ACNA. It had still not been formed yet. And one of the things I did was to talk with family members in Southern Nevada, and they were enthusiastic about us moving back and starting an Anglican church. And so we again wrote letters to as many people as we could think of, and 8 showed up for a tea in a living room. And I had been praying and meditating on this idea, and had the passage from Ezekiel chapter 34 where he gives a warning to the shepherds, which is a very interesting way to start a church, with a warning to shepherds rather than some really encouraging verse. And so we prayed on that, and we had many ideas tossed around, but Jesus the Good Shepherd was immediately the name that people chose. And the people again said, let's start, saving our tithes. So we had several people saving their tithes. We had a church in Ridgecrest, St. Michael's in Ridgecrest, and then a little church plant in Flagstaff who said that once we had a bank account, they would be sending checks on the regular, which they were faithful in doing. And so we again moved to write, this time we had to write articles of incorporation and bylaws, and so did that and filed them and opened a bank account in January of 2009. And those ladies that had been planning since like October of 2008, so for a couple of months, had saved over $2,000 worth of their tithe money, which was just extraordinary. And our checking account never dipped below that 2,000, thanks be to God. So with a bank account again, and with incorporation in the state of Nevada, we started to look around for a place to worship. And we started to meet in homes. All the church planting books tell you, do service activities, do Bible studies, meet in coffee shops, don't do Sunday worship too early. But we're Anglicans. Holy Communion is central to what we are, and And when it came time for Sunday morning, the people were demanding Holy Communion. So we started to have Holy Communion just for a small group in homes, which is a great place to be. And if we had never grown past that, I still believe we would be a success having Holy Communion in homes. That is a good and right thing to do. We were able to secure a banquet room at a Hampton Inn for almost all Sunday mornings. We met in parks sometimes, and for about 2 years we met in the Hampton Inn banquet room. I, by default, became the webmaster and have built several websites, and we knew that that was going to be central in the maintaining of a website. Don't have one if you're not going to maintain it, and you have to have one, so you have to maintain it. Don't give it to somebody else to do. The church needs to do that. If you pay somebody else to do it, you're going to lose the passwords, you're going to lose the photos, everything's going to be delayed, you're not going to be able to regularly keep it up. It really needs to be done, in-house. They're easily done. It just takes a little bit of time. And so, just about everybody that we've had has either been word of mouth or been through the website that have come and visited us. After about 2 years, we were able to lease a space, and we started with a very small vestry. We've only had ever 5 people because we've always been small, and having more than that, I think, is just too many people involved in that kind of work. That kind of administrative work should be really just a small group of people, I believe. And our motto has always been, come when you can, leave when you have to. We're going to do traditional worship. We're going to have Holy Communion. We're going to sing traditional hymns with some occasional praise music. Children are always welcome in our midst. Families are always welcome. When we start to divide up church, adult ministry and children's ministry, we divide our resources. And if we're giving the lesser resource to the children, that is the person with the most training and experience is working with adults rather than with children. That's backwards. So don't send the children out if you don't have the best to offer them. That is a mistake of long-term planning for the future of our churches. Even 3-year-olds I've heard give the responses in liturgy. So have them in worship, allow them to participate, encourage and train the people up in how to support families in their worship. And so those are the 2 basic stories of church planting and how I've done it. My recommendation to anybody else that's interested in church planting is to call your bishop and talk with him. Call another bishop that you're thinking about. If you're thinking about going to a certain geographic area, find the bishop that is in that geographic area and call and talk to him about church planting. And then here's some other stories. Call successful church planters. That means they've been, around for more than 5 years, and see how it is that they're doing it. Hear about their experience, and then rely on the Lord. He's the one that gathers. He's the one that feeds. He's the one that waters. We just have to be faithful and show up. Blessings.